What's new with Layer Apps version 4.0.0? Layer Apps version 4.0.0 adds two major components. The first of which can be seen on the Layer Apps information window, which is shown currently here on the screen. In addition to reconfiguring the logo app icons on the top, there's now a new toggle button called Show Toolbar. And this is something that a number of users want to be able to do, is to be able to hide this toolbar here and not have it shown every time they open AutoCAD. So now this option is available for you to select to hide the toolbar by not showing it. And once you click OK, that toolbar will no longer be shown the next time you open AutoCAD. The second major addition to Layer Apps can be found on here under, again, the add-ins ribbon, Layer Apps palette. There's now an additional app listed called DDLYRDS. So this command basically brings up a huge window that shows a list of layers with the layer description column now shown first, the status of the layer, what's on, frozen, locked, or plottable, the color number, and then the layer name in the far right column. And I purposely opened the Layer Properties Manager to show how this basically reflects the Layer Properties Manager. With Layers Property Manager, the layer name always remains in the left column, and there's no way to move the description to the left side, and everything is basically controlled by the name itself. You can only filter out the layer name. You could basically control what's on and off based on the layer name, and not much you can do other than enter information on the description column. You could sort it basically, ascending or descending order. But other than that, there is not much you can do. So I've created this layer description command that allows you to now do more with that column. On the top of the window, these are a number of operations they can do now that involves the layer description property. And I'm going to highlight some layers to demonstrate how some of this works. For the first operation, called case, you can now change the words uppercase, lowercase, or by word or by sentence of the description. Not talking about layer name, but we're talking about the description property of the layer. So I'm going to change it all to uppercase for the ones I've selected. Click OK. And notice that how the change occurs automatically here. And you're wondering, well, how come it doesn't change here? Because the dialog box is still open. I'm going to purposely select on this to dismiss the dialog. And notice that now you can see the uppercase is changed now in the drawing itself on the Layers Property Manager. I'm going to just select that. And that allows me to basically select an object on a particular layer with a description which will now highlight in the list box. Okay, which it did. There's an additional layer that's highlighted. The next operation that I've added is basically similar to what you can do with the Inside Properties Manager window, which is the ability to just edit some layers. Let's say I'm going to just layers descriptions, and I'm just going to select a few, 3 in this case, and I'm going to just click on edit. And now I'm given the ability to edit that in edit window, and I'm going to just change old, new to old. And the next one, notice how the window just stays where I moved it last. And I'm just going to add number 1 just to see how it sorts. Now see right away it changed, and now the sorting is based on the layer description, not based on the layer name itself. And I'll leave that one alone. So this is how it demonstrates how I could edit the description with this window, which is similar to, again, how you can do it in the layers property palette. And to see the change for those 3 layers, I'm going to go ahead and again select this button just so you can see right away it updated, and you can see the change that's now showing up in here in this list. And again, I'm just going to select this to add into the list. The next thing I'm going to demonstrate here, another operation is called FNR. A number of these operations are basically very similar to what I've already included in the layer apps, which is the ability to change the layer name, the case, the find and replace, the color. So now I basically added now the features to be able to uh, impact the layer description itself. And I'm going to do a F and R here, and I'm going to select some layers that I could be able to find a good pattern to be able to change. So for example here, I'm going to find and replace, and move that up here, floor plan, and replace it with ceiling. Now I could call it RCP as well, just to see the demonstration here. And anything that shows floor plan, in that case that's matched, will be changed. And notice that those are the layers that's changed. Everything else remain the same. And again, we could see the change here once I dismiss the window, and right away you see the change occur there. All right, so you know it's happening in the background. Now I could also sort this list, ascending or descending. And this descending will basically put the alphabet, anything that's last in the alphabet, on the top, and all the numbers in the bottom. Now interestingly enough, though, I purposely put the empty description lines in the bottom of the list because I don't want to necessarily manipulate and have to deal with a lot of empty description lines if I don't need to. And AutoCAD, on the other hand, if you select the sorting, it always keeps what is empty on top. And that's something that I prefer not to do, so I purposely change that so it doesn't do that. I'm going to select this and bring the window back on, and put it back to ascending. The next setup operation that affects layer descriptions is filter, and this is something that AutoCAD doesn't have the ability to do, is filter out the layer based on the description. It only has the ability to filter it based on the name. So now I'm going to filter it out so that I only see anything that shows, let's say, furniture plan, by selecting filter. So furniture plan, and right away it only shows the furniture plan layer descriptions that has that there in the descriptions property. And also by default, the current layer will also be included, so which is layer 0 in this case, in all circumstances. And I could clear that filter by selecting here, and then again now I'm back to the way it was before. So, and I've also provided some additional abilities to change the layer based on the fact that with the description shown on the left, which is similar to changing these properties, with whether it's with a layer name on the left or description on the right, it doesn't matter. But it's nice to be able to do this by filtering out what is in the description instead of what is in the name. So I'm going to change. I'm highlighting a few of these based on this description I see in the left, and then change the status, which is the reflects what is on, what is frozen, what is to be locked, and what is to be plotted or not plotted. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and freeze those layers I've selected, and turn off, lock, and don't plot. Click OK. And basically the minus symbols means that it's the opposite of what's shown. So now it's no longer on, but basically off. And the plus means that it is what's shown here in the column of F, so it is frozen. L, again, is locked now and it's no longer printable. So again, it affects all the layers I've selected based on the description I see on the left column. And I could do the same with the color. So again, with those layers selected, I choose color, and this brings up a very similar color swatch, the large custom color swatch box as in the DD-LYR VPC command. Now this is incorporated also in the DD-LYR DS command to be able to change the color that way. And I could select any of these colors, the 255 colors provided by AutoCAD, and let's say that I'm going to change it all to a gray tone, which is number 9, and now they're all changed to a gray tone, number 9. Alright, and again, this pick operation is very similar to this pick button operation. I just left that up here for convenience so that you can actually pick an object like this. I know this is an Xref. I'm going to select that Xref, and it tells me that that Xref layer that has the prefix txt, which is the Xref name, layer 1 is the name of the layer, has this description called this is Xref layer 1. Click OK. Now notice that this has been selected in the list. Now you could actually change the Xref property as long as your VIS retain is set to 1, so which I have set in this drawing. Now with this set to 1, I could actually make a change to the text Xref layer description, color, all the settings for the status will remain in this parent drawing regardless of what happens in the Xref itself. So I'm going to, instead of clicking up here, I could actually double click with the one layer selected. If I double click, it actually executes the same as the edit operation up here. And I could make a change here, and this is a real Xref. I call it a real Xref. Click OK. So this change actually will remain in this drawing as long as that VS retain left on. Likewise, again, I could change the color as well. So instead of being one red, I'm going to change to magenta. Click OK. And notice that changed. And again, VS retain, once it's set to 1, that information, whatever change they make to a layer property, will be retained in the parent drawing. Okay, this finishes the demonstration of the new features added to Layer Apps version 4.0.0.